Morning, geeks! Hello, you geeks out there. Jeffrey Powers with Geekazine. Welcome to the show we call Morning Geeks. Morning Geeks over at Geekazine.com. Thank you very much for coming to the show. It is early in the morning if you're on the East Coast. It's not as early. If you're on the West Coast, dang, it's early. It's early. So my name is Jeffrey Powers. You can find me over at Geekazine.com. Think magazine, Putin the Geek. That would be me. So we have a great show this week. I spent, that was yesterday. I was typing down everything because all the notes about Pokemon Go and all that. There's a lot to go through on that. It's just a lot of cool stuff. You might not think, but yeah, you might think. I don't know if you like the Pokemon Go. Do you like the Pokemon Go? Those little kids with the Pokemon Go and everything like that. 8-ball, I said that, yeah. So anyway, Happy Bon Festival, or the Oban as the purists call it. Happy Social Media Giving Day. Yes, it's actually a thing where it's not giving. You can give to me because I'm a social media guy. But Social Media Giving Day means that through social media, you give to different charities and stuff like that. So I don't have a charity. I should probably get that going for the future and stuff like that. Happy birthday to Jim Rash, Eddie, who's 45, Eddie Griffin, who's 48, Adam Savage from Mythbusters, who's 49, and Forrest Whitaker, who's 55. So happy birthday to you guys. You are all geeks here. As for new stuff that came through, all this week it's been about musical instruments, and I'm re-nutting my guitars. You go, what? Rut? It's a re-nut. It's basically on the neck. You have this little nut that holds the strings, and when you tune and detune strings, those strings just kind of go back and forth, kind of like a file. So I got my bass guitar back from my nephew, who's been using it for a while. And I noticed that the bass nut was pretty worn down, so I went and got that. And I have an older guitar, one of my first guitars, that also needed a nut replacement. So went on Amazon and got some nuts. We all need to have some nuts every now and then. So anyway, also over here, you can't see it right now. Let me get rid of the bug here. Oh, and there's coffee in the way. Take a look at this. It's from Monoprice. This is a tube amplifier. It's a 25-watt tube amplifier. It's also got electronics in there, so you can switch back and forth. If you go up to CD, then you pretty much are using the tube amplifier. But if you switch down to BT, which is Bluetooth, you can hook up your phone and get some great stuff. In fact, I should probably make sure that my Bluetooth is off on my phone. Now I'm thinking about it. Speaking of my phone, I did something really strange. Not really strange, but really dumb.
Phone is disconnected.
All right. My phone is disconnected. So this is on. I was trying to show it, but I think the lights don't show the tubes going on. Hopefully you can see that. But they've got a nice yellow glow to them. It's really cool. The problem with tube amplifiers is they also get hot. So that's why there's these little rings around them. You shouldn't be touching the tubes. That's for sure. As for my phone, like I said, I did something really strange. The mute switch stopped working. And I went to AT&T and I said, hey, the mute switch has stopped working on this. And they said, well, yeah, you have insurance on this, but there's a $200 deductible. It's like, you're crazy. I thought there was a replacement plan on this. And it's, no, there's no replacement plan. You should have gotten AppleCare. It's like, I was told by your representative not to get AppleCare. So then I called up Apple and they said, yeah, it's like $250 to replace the switch. So I figured, okay, well, maybe it's just a connection problem. So I'll get a little bit. I have this Detoxit, which I use on all my electronics and I just used it on my bass to clean out the pots and stuff like that. So I figured let's put a little bit on the side there and rock the cradle, rock the switch, and hopefully it'll start working again. Well, it didn't start working. In fact, it messed up my screen. So. And it was a lot worse at the beginning of the week. There's this white patch on the top left corner and a darker patch on the right side because I guess some of the Detoxit got in there, and which is kind of sad. But hey, it still works. I can still see things. I can still play Clash of Clans. I can still play Pokemon Go. I don't have a problem with that. So it's just a little discolorated, something like that. Anyway, so that's basically it for this week. And oh yeah, I got a mystery package coming today. I don't even know where it's from. I know it's from Seattle. I know FedEx is delivering it, and I have to sign for it. That's all I know. I don't know what the package is. So keep an eye on my Instagram. Geekazine is my Instagram handle. Keep an eye on that, and once I see, you'll see. Unless it's like, some summons to appear on court or something like that, then you're not going to see that. But and just subscribe to Instagram Geekazine, because then you get to see cool stuff like this. This is last night. I was downtown, and they had their Pokemon Go meetup, and I actually did walk up and down a little bit and grabbed a couple spots, grabbed a couple new Pokemon, and went from there. Speaking of Instagram, my friend CC Chapman is in Europe right now because they have Star Wars Celebration Day, and he's Instagramming stuff in London. That's from Geek Tech Live. That's pretty cool too. No, that's Anyway, he's got Mark Hamill was just speaking. Of course, you got to understand, in London, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon, something like that. It's 7 hours ahead of me, 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So there's CC right there, and he's showing off some of the cool stuff from the Star Wars celebrations. And I wish I was there. Yeah. But, hey, can't be everywhere, I suppose. But anyways, that's what he's got on his Instagram. That's pretty cool. So good job, CC Chapman. I will definitely let you know that I put in, because you're doing something geekier than I'm doing. So I bet you probably won't see that. But anyway, here nor there nor anywhere, go over to Geekazine.com to check out all the cool stuff. We've got a lot of great posts, including 10 are cool things that you need are to keep cool when you're in a power outage, and then a couple other posts that I've done. Of course, you go over to youtube.com/Geekazine. You can check out all because there are some extra YouTube videos that I don't put on Geekazine.com, like tutorials, how-tos and stuff like that. So, because that is a tutorial, a how-to tutorial, anyway, so let's get back and let's get into your morning geeks. Let's change the music. There we go. Welcome to the music, and make sure that music's on. Hello. Yeah, I think it's on. Okay, let's get into the show. All right, Nintendo is not only winning on the Pokemon craze, but decided to put out a retro NES system as well. It's a new console that plays 30 NES games, including Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, but you can do a lot more with a Raspberry Pi and MAME, and so you could get tons of more games if you MAMEd it. That's better. $60 for that unit, $10 additional for extra controller, as opposed to a Raspberry Pi and a MAME. That's just, it doesn't make much sense. But if you're in for that retro thing, this is no different than those, remember when you got the gun with the cable in it, when that hooked up to the TV? We're talking pretty much the same thing. I'm guessing there's going to be like a HDMI port on there and stuff like that. But if you want that retro look, then $60 is what you're going to need to get for that. Or just wait until they start going down in price, because they probably will. So anyway, let's move on here. Google has updated their search features to make it easier to find travel deals. Hotels, flights will have smart filters, so if you travel with your pets, your kids, your llamas, then they can find you the best price. First photo of Kid Flash came out this week. Keenan Lonsdale will be the hero in the show. Now, no word on if he dances his way through that show. TV and streaming are going to get a major change as Twitter and Facebook are going to do more streaming events. We're talking great shows like Morning Geeks, okay, more like NFL and Wimbledon action, and also expect big news shows to start streaming as well. So maybe some CNN, maybe some ESPN, maybe some more Geekazine stuff. I don't know. It's very possible. So, can a Dalek control your smartphone? Exterminate. Exterminate. That's my plunger right here. Exterminate. Exterminate. Well, actually, these are garbled tones that they're finding that have these what they call subliminal messages inside, where they can catch the implements. So if you start hearing around town, if you start hearing like an old modem or something like that, or a cat that's really upset, or something like that, you might want to turn off your phone, your voice recognition on the phone, because it might be sending secret messages. Just saying. Just saying. Next thing you know, your phone goes to Pornhub, and then what are you going to do? Besides view Pornhub. That happens. So anyway, let's move on. This clock is pretty cool. It uses a string that threads through the machine to basically display the time. It marks the string up. The string goes through, and then of course you see it's 2:40 in the afternoon. I gotta go do something or something like that. Anyway, it's called the Flux 1440. It's a creation by German artist Felix Vartier. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It means that you have basically a lot of string. And it's actually funny to see the whole thing, because the string's just kind of laying on the floor, and it's going through this system of pulleys and gears and stuff like that. Widgets and wadgets and whatnots all galore, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, and then it just lines up and shows you the date. I really enjoyed looking at that. I'd love to have a clock like that myself, but if you have a cat, probably not a good idea. All that string on the floor, cats love string. No, that's hello. So finally, another game is making headway this week. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator lets you recreate the epic Game of Thrones Season 6 battle between Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton. No word if you can recreate that dog scene, but if you spend the time, you put down 3,000 troops on one side, 6,000 troops on the other side, and then of course when she comes with the extra troops, I don't know how many troops that was. It probably was around 1,000 to 2,000, I would guess, and of course with the ambush that really made it. And I don't know if you can put a giant in there to ram a door down, but if you could do all that, heck, Game of Thrones Season 6 battle recreation right there. They did part of it in this picture. This was an animated GIF, and they did part of it where they were actually, those were the guys with the big wooden shields and the spears. And the spears, and then they showed how that can work. So anyway, that's pretty cool, and you can check that out. We got it over on Sploid. That's Sploid.
Enjoy the preview.
I'm not afraid of no ghosts, but I might be afraid of a bad movie. New to this week. Okay, so I read a couple of the reviews. Kevin Smith seemed to like it, while others thought it was a pile of smurf. Before you go into the movie, keep in mind it's not a reboot nor a sequel. It's very unclear if there were 1984 Ghostbusters or not. Nonetheless, I'm personally hoping this isn't going to be a Bridesmaids 2 in a geeky ghost outfit. First clips from StarWars Rebels Season 3 was released. If you haven't watched this show, it takes place around when the Empire was hunting for Jedi for extinction. Therefore, you can see characters from episodes 1 through 4, Leia, Darth Vader were in the last season, and yeah, okay, Jar Jar Binks could be there. It's possible. Let's hope there's a guillotine involved. Hey, they gave Groot his own movie and they made him talk. A Monster Calls is an adaptation from the Patrick Ness novel and stars Liam Neeson, Felicity Jones, and Sigourney Weaver. It's about a boy who is sick and how he invents his own monster to escape real-life problems. Now, wait a minute. Real life is a monster, so he created a monster to get away from another monster? The movie will be in theaters October 21st.
Something incredible happened to me. So listen up, because you're not going to believe this.
If you're in New York, you can check out Phantom Boy in theaters. It's an animated movie about a sick boy named Leo who could explore the city as an apparition. I find it interesting that Phantom Boy seems to be released in New York at the same week that Ghostbusters is. Hopefully he won't get captured by Melissa McCarthy or Kristen Wiig. And that is new to this week. sound. You probably can hear me now. There we go. Hello. I hate it when I forget to hit that sound button. But anyway, I checked Instagram to see if there was any more of CC's pictures. He's got one more. It's a sticker of a stormtrooper. It says Trader, which is pretty cool. But go over to his Instagram, check that out. In the meantime, let's get into the main topic of today. That's Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go has officially surpassed all other games and app launches within 1 week. We're talking Candy Crush, we're talking Draw Something, we're talking Clash of Clans, we're talking even My App, which hasn't been out yet. Yeah, it'll probably surpass that. Not a problem there. It's also currently more popular than Facebook and Snapchat. Now, you think to yourself, how could that happen? That's crazy. That's cray-cray. It's also... they've already had an active daily user count. Let me do that. They already have an active daily user count of 20 million. And the social aspect is completely crazy. Topping the lists of Facebook, topping the lists of Twitter, Instagram, and a whole bunch more. The game is set upon an app engine that was built by a company called Niantic. Now, if you remember, they created a game called Ingress, which came out a couple years ago. Same premise, same idea, to build their Pokemon Go app. That way, they could instantly set up all those landmarks and Pokestops throughout the game. It was pretty instantaneous at that point because they've already done the work. And even though not only all countries have it, they're breaking records all over as well, but not without issue. Hackers are finding out that, hey, this is a great opportunity to create malware versions and put them outside the Play Store. Because in order for you to do that, you got to go outside the Play Store. iOS, you've got to have a jailbroken phone and use, some of the apps that you would download and install from there. So be very careful, because once those items get on your phone, these hackers can take a lot of your data. And if you're using your credit cards over there, if you're using, whatever, they might even steal your texts and get into Miley Cyrus's phone or something like that. Probably have already done that. So it's not to say that Google already hasn't had their hand in dipping in your data pool, but hey, there was a small issue earlier with, I believe it was just with Android phones, maybe with iOS, but I think it was just Android phones. But now we all know how to limit the data collection part from these phones. Actually, it was iOS as well, so we now know how to. You can just go online and search on that, and so we can think that we're safe in playing. But the real question is, are we really safe in playing this game? Is somebody what type of data is somebody collecting? And, that's scary in itself. Now, there is, and of course, not even to mention the fact that you might be hooking up to some store's Wi-Fi and pulling data that way. And you got to watch out for that as well. Now, if there's ever an app that can demonstrate first world problems, this is it. This is it. So you don't need to play it, but it's here. It eats up your data. There's in-app costs if you run out of Pokeballs and you need to use your stash. Last time I saw stash in a Pokeball, I think I was in college. But I digress from that. So thieves are also getting into the craze by stuffing landmarks with a lot of gifts. So you go to gravitate to those landmarks that are sitting in the middle of an alley. Why is that Pokestop in the middle of an alley? That's crazy. And then, of course, they're there with guns and knives and all these dangerous things, and they're ready to rob you of your phone, rob you of your personal possessions. So let's see you can play Pokemon with that, mister. But it does get us out and about. Some stores are noticing better walking traffic, more purchases as they stop to get something to drink or eat. Meetups are happening to get teams and talk about what they found throughout the game. Madison, like I showed you earlier, Madison had their meetup last night, and there was a ton of people there. It was so many participants, and this is State Street in Madison. If you've ever been there, it's a pretty popular street, but it was so populated with meetup people. It looked like, I was walking down a street in New York City around Times Square at about 8 o'clock in the morning. And that is pretty interesting for a Thursday night. Now, even the first NBA team I think this is which NBA team? That was the Sacramento Kings. That's right. Sacramento Kings is the first NBA team to hold a meetup, and they're going to hold it tonight, Friday night. They'll have 2 Pokestops that you can collect from, and if what I saw last night was any indication of what's going to happen in Sacramento, it's going to be a melee. So you might want to go there early and get in line, because it'll be a lot of fun. And of course, you'll probably meet some, Sacramento Kings, most likely. So there are some places that don't want to be a Pokestop. Apparently, these were ingress landmarks, and they were transferred over to the Pokemon Go Pokestop apps or stops. One of them was the Holocaust Museum, and the other one is Poland's Auschwitz Memorial. And so they basically said, "Hey, stop! We don't want to be Pokestops." And I actually understand why, because they simply want people to come and understand the history of what happened back in World War I and the concentration camps. Andrew Hollinger, who's the communication director, he's basically said it best. He goes, "Technology can be an important learning tool, but this game falls far outside our educational and memorial mission." So, since Pokemon was not instrumental in winning World War I and saving the Jewish community from concentration camps, they don't want the focus to be taken away from the things that are important. Totally understandable. Not to say that somebody can't play the game while they're there. It's like, okay, I just want to see if there is one Pokemon in there, but it won't be a Pokestop. Hopefully, Niantic will get that changed as quick as possible. Now, we've heard about all the accidents. We've heard about possible and major injuries and stuff like that. People crashing cars and things. We heard about Shiloh Wiggins of Wyoming, who wanted to catch a water Pokemon and only to find a dead body. I don't know. Did she stuff that in the Pokeball? You throw a Pokeball at a dead body, see what happens? I don't know. You waste your Pokeballs by doing that. So, another story about a girlfriend who used the GPS to track the boyfriend's Pokemon Go habits, finding out that he was cheating on her with a Charmander. Finally, the hackers that realized by going into high rises in major cities that you didn't need to run around town to get all of those Pokestops. There are even some people doing some very interesting stuff with drones to get to those Pokestops without having to walk around. So you kind of drive up to an area, deploy the drone, do all the stops, come back, and go to the next part. And of course, that means going faster. That means not doing what the game's really intended to do. So let's look at all the takeaways from this game. First, there's the out and about aspect, because, we couldn't go out and about before. We had to stay inside. We are agoraphobics. Welcome to the agoraphobia world. And now the phone said, "Hey, there's something outside. Go outside. Go do it. Go do it." Probably the first time your kids got up in this summer without an alarm clock, or maybe with an alarm clock to go off. Poke hunting. That's a term, poke hunting. Next, we got the location check-ins. That can bring revenues that was never expected. To store owners out there, I highly suggest that you create a Pokestop kiosk, maybe a little charger in there and some coffee and stuff like that for people to come in, throw a couple bucks in the jar, grab a coffee, charge up for a couple minutes, and get going and find the next Pokemon there. Then we have the photo option. Now, this is the most intriguing part of the whole thing, because you can sit there and you can take pictures and throw that up on social media. And a lot of people have been doing that. I've seen many what I call Poke selfies going on. One in particular is the Diglett, which I won't show a picture of a Diglett, but it's a Gopher-style character that has a very smooth look to it and kind of looks like a, And Diglett pics are now a thing. But some people, that they're making some great social media posts by using Pokemon Go and furthering their Snapchat, furthering their Instagram, furthering their Vines, furthering their Facebook Lives and stuff like that, by having, with some great pictures. And I've seen some awesome pictures of these birds sitting on trees, or more, the cat with one of the Pokemon on its back or something like that. My first picture was a picture of a Charmander, and I said, yeah, it'd be kind of nice to have a Charmander on top of the toilet paper, because my toilet paper is Charmin. No, I did not Pokemon in the bathroom, although that's probably a thing as well. This game doesn't have trading to it, the trading aspect to it just yet. It wasn't apparently ready by time of launch, and they've already been reports that trading will start to happen within future updates. I would guess within the next 1 or 2 updates, because a lot of people are really upset it's not there. Because that's the whole idea of Pokemon Go, is the fact that you can trade. And when that happens, yeah, Pokemon Go will probably go from here to here again. And of course, that means, hey, it's so popular, let's do some knockoffs. Now, in England and China, I don't think that they can download the app yet. So they've got their own knockoff versions already, games that do the same thing. Of course, companies that build that algorithm from the ground up, that program from the ground up. Excuse me. And of course, any company can really build something that can rival what Niantic has done. I mean, it's not like they own the corner on GPS location-based gaming. This makes me think that we haven't really seen this come to a precipice yet. Pokemon Go set the bar here, but there's a lot of things that can set the bar a lot higher. Think about it. What if Star Wars was to put out a location-based game? I don't think Pokemon could stand a chance. So with all of that is what the craze is for Pokemon Go. I mean, we have the ability to go out, we have the ability to socialize, we have the ability to meet up, we have the ability to share our progress. And of course, with the trading coming soon, you'll have even more ability, and the next thing you know, it's skyrocketing. So, but let me know, what do you think? Do you Pokemon? What is your Pokemon thing out there? How do you do the Pokemon when it comes to Pokemoning and stuff like that? That was kind of weird. Let me do that again. So tell me what you think. Let me know. Tweet me over at Geekazine. Think Magazine, put in a geek. Facebook.com/Geekazine. YouTube.com/Geekazine. It's all going to be there. You can watch it. You can see it. You can experience it over there. You can subscribe any of the channels. Like over on Facebook. Like over on Twitter. And subscribe and all that other good stuff. So thanks a lot for watching. This was probably one of the toughest episodes I did, because there was a lot of stuff when it came to this Pokemon Go. And within a week, we've seen a lot of change in the app world. And then we haven't even touched on the VR aspect, because there will be a VR aspect to location-based gaming. And so, like I said, you're seeing it happen here. You're thinking it's up here that this Pokemon Go is. That's how crazy it is. But it's really right about here, because the next games are going to really set new bars. And we'll go from there. But anyway, let me know what you think. And that's pretty much it for this week's episode. A little bit longer than I expected, but, like I said, had a lot to go through on that. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. You guys geek out. We'll see you next time, and take care.